Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Oh my God, Nathan, you've taken full old lady. You're in your old lady stage.
I'm in my old lady era. How's that?
What does your rocking chair look like? Do we dare to have you hold it up for us?
Well, no, what it is, you know, one of those chairs that you'd like take, it's like a camping chair. It's like a foldable one that you would just take out to the park or whatever. But I didn't know that I had bought one that is like a rocking chair version of that.
That sounds so high tech to me.
It's not. It's just, yeah, it's just got like an extra bar on it.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm feeling real good. How are you?
Good. My office chair used to be like you sit on it with your butt, but then it has a spot to put your knees. And so the idea was that then you're holding yourself up with your legs, kind of. It's hard to imagine, but the bottom was like a rocking chair, so I could sit and rock too.
Oh, okay. It was like some kind of ergonomic thing.
Yeah, which it doesn't end up working. You can still sit there like this or like this.
Well, no, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like ergonomics, it's like everybody's body is like built differently. So like one chair is not going to help everybody.
I took it out to the garage. I haven't gotten rid of it, but it's almost gone.
Yeah.
We are talking about Sherri Papini.
Oh, yes. Am I going to have to watch her?
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be everybody, this is going to be hard for me. I cannot look at Sherri Papini.
Well, you had said that to me and you were like, remember the documentary? We started to watch it together and you're talking about the Hulu one that's called The Perfect Wife.
Yeah.
And all the pictures, because they don't interview her for that. So it's all like her pictures and she's just like.
No, she always looks like an empty doll. It's really weird. Like with those big blue eyes. Like she's very pretty, yes, but she is disconcerting to look at.
Okay, from all of my research, I watched that documentary twice. And then Sherri Papini came out with her own documentary. I call it her own, but it's like they still don't really take her side. They're still like, well, we couldn't prove this thing that she said, you know?
Scrolling through my feed, all I see is bullshit. Fake news, clickbait, gotta sift through all of it. Oh. Like Sherri tweet, trying to keep up with the trends, but it's all just a facade, man, it's all pretend. Online bullshit, that's all it is. You say you're living large, but I know it's just a myth. Online bullshit, can't you see? We're all caught up in the nonsense, it's time to break free.
Oh, well, at least they push back on like her lying. Even if they didn't like call her a liar and confront her on it, at least they fact checked throughout. That's all we can expect nowadays.
So I had brought it up 2 weeks ago that this woman who does a podcast about like abuse survivors did an episode with Sherri Papini. And I was like, I'm going to listen to that. And it's called True Crime in Hollywood or something. And it starts and she was like, welcome to the show, Sherri Papini. Is there anything that you'd like to say that you haven't been able to say? And like Sherri just starts crying and then they just talk about domestic violence and what it's like to be an abuse survivor. And like it wasn't going anywhere. And I was like, why are we on her side? And then she mentions a documentary and a book. And I said, okay, I got to watch the documentary. And I didn't want to buy the book, but I eventually just bought the book and I read it.
What's the book? Oh, you read it. Good for you.
Sherri Papini wrote her own account of what happened, which we'll go into in a moment if you don't remember her.
I cannot wait to hear what she has to say for herself.
Yeah, so she called her book, Sherri Papini Doesn't Exist.
Okay, that's weird.
I knew that. I thought you might go, what? So she was never, she's never alive? Yeah. She's a figment of our imagination? Like, what is it?
Right. No, actually, what it made me think of immediately was like, yeah, because you're a sociopath who doesn't have like a solid grasp on identity. But I know. I thought it was a bold title, but she's saying like, who you think you know isn't me. It's like way less interesting then
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, this has been created and I'm different inside. You don't know the real me. It's like, okay, girl.
Yeah.
Sure, I bet. We it's not that we haven't seen like 2 documentaries, but I mean, we've seen plenty of you, Sherri. We know what we're dealing with.
Well, let's tell the story. So,
Okay, cool.
in 2016, on November 2nd, Sherri Papini was abducted from a jog. She had just left her house and she's like down the street. She didn't get far. And we know that because she left her phone behind. So when her husband gets home and is like, nobody's here, he does a.
I just. Nobody's here. What
Because
happened to Sherri?
He
Where
is
did
kinda
she
like
go?
that.
I know.
Yeah.
Where's Sherri go? I'm
Well,
sorry.
when they
You made him
show
sound like
her,
that.
when they show her phone, because they'll show pictures of like finding it and then like picking it up, the text that pops up on the screen is like from Keith Papini, her husband, saying, "Hey, where is everybody?"
Yeah.
And so then he gets home and like she's not there. So he finally does like a Find My iPhone and
Yeah.
tracks it to like down the street. So he goes and he sees it's laying on the ground next to the mailboxes and like her headphones are there just kind of placed on top and some of her hair. And so he goes,
okay.
this is weird. So he
Yeah.
takes a picture and then he calls 911 and he's like, my wife's missing. I found her cell phone and like hair with it.
Yeah.
Like
And
maybe
you know
there
what?
was a struggle.
I want to hand it to her. The hair's a nice touch, Sherri. Like, that's some
Yeah.
good staging. Well done. Well done, you fucking psycho.
So anyway, she's missing 22 days. They're interviewing him, the husband, trying to make sure it's not him. You know, they'll show his interrogation where he's like, I guess you got to make sure it's not me, huh? Because everybody always thinks it's the husband. He got out in front of it and like understood that. And then like he was very honest with them and he started doing TV appearances.
Yeah.
And they were like, this was good because it did help it get into the news. But also she's a beautiful blonde woman. So yeah, this took off like wildfire. They'd be like, she's a super mom. She's the most perfect woman.
Yeah,
They kept saying shit like that.
Well, and also they're a very cute couple. Like, you know,
They are.
Keith
They're
is
so
cute as
tiny.
a button. They're a tiny little pocket couple that you could literally put them alive on top of your wedding cake and just have them smile, and it would be glorious. They're so cute. Yeah,
that's true. Okay, and then there's a point and they show in The Perfect Wife where Keith comes in and he's like, well, I've caught her cheating before.
Okay.
Yeah, and he shows some text messages and how she changed some male people. Like, it'll be obvious that they're flirting in texts, but the name will be a woman's name. And he's like, this is her flirting and she just changed it to a woman's name so I wouldn't figure it out, but I figured it out. Yeah. And so she had done this before.
Well, if not a huge red flag, Keith. Like, I know you're married, you got kids, but
well, here's what he did, okay?
Yeah,
What he did is he made her do a postnuptial agreement.
Oh, well, that's okay. Good for him.
This, in Sherri's book, she's like, this was extremely abusive. Sorry.
A postnuptial agreement was extremely abusive?
So, like, he made it so, like, if you ever cheat on me, basically, you're not going to get anything or, like, custody, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what you can put in one of those. And Sherri has said that they, like, both had a lawyer for the agreement. But she felt like it was punishment. And he kind of made it so he was controlling. He was, like, worried about her cheating all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Also, the fact that, I don't know, it's kind of legally interesting that, like, he would say, if you cheat, we take your kids away. It's like, I don't know if you can do that, you know?
No, but also I think that's what he thought would keep her from cheating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was more something like that. And right before this abduction and stuff, she had just gotten laid off from her job at AT&T. Okay. And then she took her severance pay. And he's the one telling the cops this, that she was like, well, I want to get a boob job. And he was like, you're not going to work. You're going to stay at home with the kids and you're going to get a boob job and you're still going to take them to, is it called preschool?
I think
It's
so.
like,
yeah, pre-K, something like that.
It's like before they have to be in school. He's like, well, I don't want to pay for daycare. That's what it was. If you're not working, like, why am I paying for daycare? And it just became obvious, even while she's missing, that they have a lot of fights over, like, money. You know?
Yeah. Sex and money. I mean, those are the things that, like, destroy relationships.
Ooh.
Like, those are always the issues.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that we have both here.
Uh-huh. For sure.
November 24th, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Sherri is found on the side of the road 100 miles away from her house. So she's not even close to home, but she's like, I got dropped off by the kidnappers.
Yeah.
You know? And she...
I'm sorry. Whenever you speak as one of them, I love the character you're creating. I got dropped off by the kidnappers. I don't know what's happening, but No,
I have a clip of this because in this documentary, I feel like it is framed like, damn, listen to her. Just wait, okay.
Let me see.
I know, don't you like this? Me holding up my phone.
911 emergency. What are you reporting?
Hi, I have an emergency. There's a lady on the side of the road needing help.
Okay. Okay, sir, take a deep breath. Do you know what's wrong with her?
She's saying that she got kicked out of her boyfriend's... Her name is Sherri Papini. Papini.
What's wrong with her? Ask her what's wrong with her.
What's hurting? You're chained up.
Can I talk to her?
Here.
Please. Sherri, I need you to listen to me. Listen to me. Are you chained up?
Yes.
Okay, take a deep breath, sweetie. Who chained you up? You know the person or were you kidnapped?
I don't know. I never saw her face.
Listen.
I want to call my husband. I want to...
How did you get chained up? What happened?
She took me.
Who took you? Do you know?
No.
Okay. Where were you taken from? Deep breath. I understand. Do you know how someone took you? How did they get you out from Red?
I mean, already the theatrics. Seriously.
That's how I felt.
Well, can I just say, like, how I felt about that? Only because I feel like, okay, so she's waiting she's like at the side of the road and a car is coming up. If she's treating it as if like her moment before is she just ran out of a serial killer's warren, and she is like, was about to be killed and then she found this car. And so she's still like in the thick of whatever, like, violence would have been visited upon her. But I mean, you're already by the side of the road. I just feel like your heart rate would be down a little bit. You wouldn't be like so fatootsed. Seriously, I'm questioning her acting choices.
I think that at that level, you would get tired quickly.
Yeah,
and she doesn't ever seem to get tired. And then after this, they take her to the hospital, and she keeps saying like, "I don't really want to talk to law enforcement. I just want my husband." So then the story goes, right? She's all beat up. She's got a chain around her waist, a zip tie. There's like one zip tie on one arm that's just like really tight. And then do you remember she has a brand on her back? She's been branded.
I do remember that. Yeah. What's it a brand of?
Okay, so it's Exodus.
Uh-huh.
And then probably, but this is harder to read, 612. And that is an entry in the book of Exodus about freeing the slaves of Israel. You know, Exodus is all about Moses getting the slaves out. And it's all about how it's like, you'll never be free or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she's at the hospital. She's like, I just want to talk to my husband. And she just keeps crying. And she's like, it's because the people who took me said that they were like in cahoots with law enforcement. So I don't trust you guys. And they keep being like, well, we have to be here, you know?
Yes. Well, nonetheless, this is our job.
Yeah.
So we're just going to ask a few questions.
Right. As I said, she's got horrible injuries. Her nose is either broken or just the skin is broken. They don't know what happened. Like, they don't find her perpetrators, which she says are two Hispanic women.
Yes.
And when she gets a sketch artist, she only has them draw the half of their face. The top half.
Because they were in masks most of the time?
Yeah. And then what happens after 2016 is it's not even until like 2020. For some reason, I don't know why, but they were like, hey, remember how we found male DNA on her pants and her underwear?
Yeah.
Let's take that to the genealogy thingy and see if it brings up any matches. Yeah. And it does. Mm-hmm. And it is actually this guy named James Reyes, who is Sherri Papini's ex-boyfriend from when she was about 20. I know.
Wow. No. You're kidding me. What a twist.
And Keith had already come into the station talking about him because that's who he caught her texting.
Oh, my God. All right.
And so they had continued texting because James got them both burner phones. So that's how Keith didn't know anymore. And then, like, when he handed over her phone to the cops, she had a recent text with another guy who they call Michigan Man.
Okay.
Who was like, hey, I'm in town from Michigan. Can you get together? And she was like, no, sorry, or something like that. And so they go out to Michigan to see if it's him. And for some reason, like, that's the only lead that they had followed. But now in 2020, they figured out it's James Reyes. They go talk to him. He lies for about 45 minutes.
Yeah. He doesn't have quite the stamina that Sherri has. He's like, after 45 minutes, he's like, I gotta stop. Oh, I'm so out of breath with all my lies.
Yeah. Well, so he says he hasn't seen her for years. And then at some point, they're like, look, man, we're here because we think you were part of when she disappeared.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, she said she was in a bad marriage. And so I was helping out a friend. Yeah. They ask more questions, but then they bring Sherri in and they're like, so you know how every time we get together, we say it's illegal for you to lie to law enforcement? And she goes,
yeah.
And she goes, yeah. And they go, so tell us again what happened. And then she tells the same story again about these Mexican women. And she's always like, the only things that they gave me to eat were like cans of beans and tortillas.
Yeah. And wait, can I add a detail? Didn't she also say, she's like, and all they would play was mariachi music? It was just like so fucking racist.
It was very racist because then they also find like an old blog with her name on it, with her maiden last name, about being like a white supremacist.
No.
Did you ever hear about that?
Oh, I absolutely did. That was one of the first things I heard, like the first podcast that I ever listened to about Sherri Papini. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, they dug into it and she was like, yeah, she's terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here, let me bring up the affidavit because that is where all of the info is about this stuff. Because it's funny because it's kind of like, God, they're writing out her whole story again. They write it out about 3 times, but it's just to like prove that she just kept lying.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, hey, we figured out that you were with this guy. He's your ex-boyfriend and he admitted it. And then she's like, what?
Yeah.
It couldn't have been James. And then they're like,
okay.
why don't you just tell us the truth now? And then because she decides to like never tell the truth, then eventually they arrest her for taking money from this like special victims fund. So she takes it for therapy.
Yeah.
And then she also signs up for disability.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that it's like that's what they had to arrest her for.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just seems like very circuitous. I'm like, you lied to the cops for years, right?
Well, here's the thing, because she pled guilty. So, and that happened in about 2022. For some reason, everything took a really long time. So she pled guilty. So then at that point, and we really haven't seen her come out in the media and speak until like last year.
Yeah.
But we were like, oh, so she says, yeah, I made it up. Well, now she wrote a book and it's about how the whole time it really was an abduction. She was trying to run away from her husband who is abusive.
Yeah.
And then she had the unfortunate luck of planning to get together with her ex, James. And he just came and abducted her 9 hours south to Southern California.
Yeah.
And he kept her tied up. You know, she had this story where she was like tied to this pole that was in the closet. And it was really like a long screw that went down through 2 shelves. It was really strange because then they show it and it's like, that's the dumbest way to have shelves in your closet, but okay. Yeah. She was like, so then my chain was like around that pole. And then she had given like other details about where she was being kept. They lined up with James Reyes's apartment. So she like told the truth about certain things, you know, because they were like, hey, well, this is a picture of his bathroom. And she was like, well, I said that there was a crack in the tub. And they were like, here's a crack in the tub. Yeah. And then she told a story of being locked in the closet and like taking a screw and starting to try to chip away at the wall.
Oh, like, like the Count of Monte Cristo, you know? Yeah. She's a heroine.
But then, so they go look in his closet and they're like, look, there's a spot where someone tried to chip away at the wall.
Yeah. Oh,
and I'm like,
all right, that is so like the first interesting detail.
She really chipped away at the wall, you know?
Honestly, we got to hand it to her. The girl can stage an abduction. The girl can stage everything that she talks about.
I was thinking we could just go through things now, kind of chronologically, and decide, and I'll give you more details along the way. According to Sherri, she has been abused, I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
But by Keith and then also by James. She's like, I didn't ask him to abduct me, and he did keep me chained up, and he did beat me up, and that was not what I wanted.
Yep, she's a permanent, perpetual victim. Totally tracks.
It's so funny because I've been trying to wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
And I've gone through like, no, she's lying. She's lying. She's lying.
Yeah.
To then the other day I was like, wait, maybe she's not lying. Maybe he did abduct her, you know?
Well, if he did abduct her, then why? I mean, was she trying to protect him with the whole story about those conveniently two Hispanic women?
I know that doesn't make sense, but
like, why would you have that story? Why don't you just tell the truth in the first place, unless you're trying to protect him? And then why are you trying to protect him?
And then why are you trying to protect him? Yeah.
Exactly. So it's
first. Yeah. She'll also say that like she was terrified for Keith to find out that she was away with a man because he was already so jealous. So and I'm like, but if he was but if he actually abducted you and like raped you and stuff, like she says in her book, then I don't think he's gonna be mad at you. However, she was having an emotional affair. So she's like, that part was my fault, and he would punish me for that.
And apparently Keith was, tiny little Keith was so violent. I mean, I know if a small man can still be violent, but I mean, he was so violent. You know,
I said the same thing. I was like, that little guy. But I do think that he could have some kind of like small man syndrome. I don't think he was beating her up, but I think he was constantly trying to prove that he wasn't a pussy or something.
Oh, fair enough. But
yeah.
She does want us to believe that, even if she was kidnapped by another man, that wouldn't matter to Keith because he's such a jealous rage monster. Circumstances don't matter. She's just with another man. That's all that matters. So that's how she's trying to characterize him, as an indiscriminate abuser.
Do you want to see a clip where they kind of talk about abuse that she may have suffered in her younger years?
Okay.
I started to come to some kind of like middle ground with her.
Mm-hmm.
Of what I think.
One morning I woke up and I felt like she had passed, and I felt like I had felt her die. And that she was never coming back.
I think this wagon's for little kids, honey.
I can pass this little kid. What?
Sherri and I are 22 months apart. Grade school wise, we were really close, but it was not an easy environment growing up. This was our house. Both her and I experienced a lot of childhood trauma. That's really difficult to talk about. So we didn't have very much money, and there was a lot of drug and alcohol abuse. As a child, I was very much the responsible one in our household. And Sherri tended to generally look at me as like the mother figure in the house. We really didn't have a sister bond.
Sherri would come over to our house and kind of to escape, whatever was going on with her parents and, especially the yelling. I did witness at one point Loretta grabbing Sherri by her hair, cursing at her and dragging her down the hallway to her bedroom and telling me to leave. And so I went home and told my mom. But there was always love in our house, and I feel like she wanted that and didn't have it.
Look at her. She's got a tongue ring.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, is she doing a tab of acid or ecstasy? Because it's right in the middle of her tongue.
First of all, I do want to also say everyone in this story is crazy. Okay, according to Sherri, her sister flirts with Keith. Her sister's also married to someone else, but Keith and her sister have a weird relationship. It's very strange because her sister doesn't defend her in her own documentary at all. Uh-huh. It's like she decided to participate in Keith's documentary. And then the same goes for Keith's sister is on Sherri's side. So Sherri's sister takes Keith's side and Keith's sister takes Sherri's side.
Wow.
It's so weird.
Well, do we get into what Keith's sister says? Because I'd be really curious to see why she's taking Sherri's side.
Oh, she's like a hippy dippy. You look in her eyes and you're like, oh.
Well, because I was wondering if she has childhood experience of Keith being abusive with her, or coming from an abuse.
She has never said that. No.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the thing. There's nothing, no one's actually done the journalism of the background of these people. We sort of only have what they've said on documentaries. And then I read Sherri's book hoping that she would explain something from her childhood, and she doesn't. She says it's called Frozen at 10. Frozen. That's what I was. There's really no other way to describe it. Trapped inside myself. Stuck in that one moment that refused to end, replaying over and over, still 10 years old, emotionally. And yes, I know, everyone has trauma. Some people face it as adults, others as babies. But mine stops something vital, something I've never gotten back. I'm not a psychologist. I've spent years trying to understand why I do the things I do. Because some days I'm fine, or fine enough anyway. Other days I'm drowning, suffocating, and I still have these walls, defenses.
Walls, which is interesting. Yeah.
She's not sure what they're called. Defenses.
She's like, I still have
these I wear.
I'm imagining if you were saying this, I still have these side structures. These building things.
What is it called if there's a roof but on the side?
Yeah.
A side roof?
Yes. Oh, God.
So she gets down here.
Uh-huh.
This is what I highlighted.
Okay.
The hardest lesson, the one I'm still learning, is calm. Keeping calm. Forcing calm. Trying not to let panic take over. That stupid poly whatever nerve hijacking my body. I tried to Google what she was talking about, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything either. Of a nerve that starts with poly. Yeah.
Yeah, making me do things I don't even recognize as mine, as if someone else has slipped behind the wheel. But it's fear, right? Fear justifies a lot. My choices, my mistakes, my secrets. I didn't lie just to lie. I wasn't malicious. I was surviving.
Okay.
And so there's another clip that I could play us too, which actually I think is what she's talking about, but I
that's
posted
what I'm
this.
Curious about. I'm just like, where are we going with this? What lie are you talking about?
This is from her documentary.
Okay.
Which is called Sherri Papini.
Exclamation point. Live at the palace.
Live at the palace. That's what it's called. Don't even look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a one-woman show.
Okay.
So really early on in childhood, someone who is not my mother or father sexually abused me. And that, I would say, is the early stages of where my personality developed.
I know this clip goes on longer. That's literally all she says about it.
Oh, okay. Can I just have a moment to extemporize about what we've read and what we've seen so far?
Yes.
Okay. It just seems like, it appears to me, not knowing what she's trying to do, is that she has some self-awareness that she's fucked up.
Yeah.
And that she lies a lot. And also, alternatively, she's trying to place the blame for that behavior somewhere else. She's denying accountability because something takes her over. It's not even really me. It's this trauma from my past. We might not all have trauma as severe as Sherri's, but there are a lot of people who have trauma as severe as Sherri's, and they don't lie.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, she's trying to justify herself, but it's like, Sherri, you're not special. She thinks she's special.
Right.
Yeah.
Is she kind of conflating what happened with this abduction, quote unquote, with some other sexual abuse trauma that did happen to her? I think that came up when I was like, why did she explain? Why in the closet is there a place where she was chipping away? And then I was like, was she LARPing? Was she LARPing as an abducted victim? You know what I mean?
Yeah. To sort of justify what she did. Was she somehow trying to reenact a traumatic experience that she had? I mean, was that is that what she's saying her motivation is?
She's not saying that.
Obviously, she's admitting that she is lying. So is she admitting that she is lying about the whole thing? Or is she admitting that she's just she lied about the Hispanic women, but James Reyes really did kidnap her? And that's what she's talking about, her lying.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So she's still lying, in my opinion.
In your opinion, yes.
Yeah.
And it's also because of Keith. So that's her whole reasoning. It was funny because I was texting Dr. Laura about it today.
Oh, yeah?
Because I saw her in one of these threads and I was like, so what do you think? And she was like, when you get home, because also, why did he let you go? He let you go and drove you almost all the way home?
Yeah.
Why?
Conveniently left you 100 miles away so you could have your big, theatrical moment.
Before he knows what's going on, why don't you just tell the cops? Because you're afraid of him? Well, if they go arrest him, then what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
You know? So that doesn't make sense. So I think this stuff that I read from her book and what she's saying about being abused is her trying to justify why she lies in ways that don't make sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of her first interrogations, I say interrogations, quote unquote, they're really just asking her questions like right after she got home.
A smaller blonde woman. Was she CHP or was she?
No, she was yellow from the sheriff's office.
Okay. But there was, I don't know what he was. I want to say he was CHP because when what was the lady with the short black hair?
Yeah, she's the ID tech.
She was great. Yeah. And she seemed to be very protective. And because she was kind of talking to me a little bit, and I was very angry and I was very frustrated because when they first pulled up, I asked them multiple times to cut off the zip tie because my hand was like turning blue. Like my hand, it was cut off, and they wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And that was very frustrating to me that no one would cut it off. And I was telling her that. And I said, they wouldn't let me talk to this, but I want my husband. And they weren't even untying me. And he said, "We did untie you." And I was like, "Get the fuck out." "No, you didn't." Because he yelled back at me like, "We did." And I'm like, "No, you didn't."
What do you think of her?
She loves it
right now.
She loves this. She loves it. She's having so much fucking fun. Yep. No doubt.
She reminds me of me if I'm in a situation where I feel like I'm not sure if anybody likes me, but I really want them to.
Yeah, but would you feel
I try
that
to make
way?
people laugh when I'm in a situation like that.
Being in a situation where you're talking to a cop about your traumatic abduction, I don't think that would be at the forefront of your mind. This is not a social occasion.
No, I know.
Yeah.
This is like 4 days after she's back, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're doing this. They're questioning her. Mind you, if they think she's lying, they had just gone through this Denise Huskins thing, and she's the other woman that was dubbed the Gone Girl in the news because she actually did get kidnapped.
And they were trying to say that she wasn't, right?
Right.
And they didn't even apologize after the fact. The cops.
Well, so
with Denise Huskins.
They took some of the notes from that to be like, we're not going to say immediately to them that like we think you're lying. They're like, we're going to investigate. And so they're sitting here interviewing her, and she keeps doing shit like this where she's being really goofy.
Yeah, exactly. She's having a
And I think they were like, okay, yeah, there's something wrong with that. And then if you look at her face, I mean, maybe she put makeup on, but already like all the bruising that was on her face seems to have healed to me.
Yeah. I mean, she's still got the bandage on, but that doesn't mean anything because we can't see what's underneath it.
It really looks like a Biore pore strip.
It really does. Or she had just like a tiny, like little tiny nose job. Like no big deal. Just took a bump off, Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Let's go over here where they're like, now tell us about what it was like when they picked you up. Like,
okay.
That whole thing that I went through where she dropped the phone and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was minuscule to nothing, but we have to look into it. We have to sort it out, figure it out. And that falls on those two lines that I told them. It was always, we were always going down two roads. The abduction because we had nothing, or you possibly had left because those were the only two options that we had. And the easiest one to look at is if you walked out or not. There's money. I can dive into you 6 ways from Sunday, and I can find some stuff. But on this rare abduction side, we're looking at chances. I'm looking at somebody driving by, noticing something minute, and now finding that person who saw that minute detail that I need, as opposed to there's paper on you. You're a normal. You pay your bills. Like I can find those people all the time. But now, and that's why that investigation was always going two ways. Keith and I talked on Saturday.
Sorry, I meant this.
Oh, okay.
You keep asking small questions if that helps, or you just need to think about it, or we can move on.
I walked towards where the vehicle had backed up, but was still far enough away from it that, because I was still cautious, I had my phone in my right hand and my earbuds on. And I took out my left to hear her. And then she opened the door. And then I saw the small revolver. And I immediately ducked down and crouched down, like in a ducking, crouching.
Like all the way on the ground? So like the fetal position, why like a catcher?
I mean, my knees weren't on the ground. It was almost,
Can you demonstrate?
yes. It was, okay, so across the road, phone's in my hand, earbud out, towards the vehicle. This, not all the way down, squatting,
Okay.
not crouching, squatting. Laid my phone down. I can't remember if she said, we don't want to hurt you, we don't want to kill you. I can't remember exactly if it's don't want to something, we don't want to something, we don't want to something. And then I put my phone down. As soon as I put it down, I was so mad because I couldn't call my husband. And as soon as I put it down,
What was she saying?
I don't know, but I'm gonna do the rest of this podcast as if I'm on the edge of tears. So
You are?
yes, Katie. I can't believe you're making me watch this. She's so traumatized. Oh my God, I can't believe this happened to her. Poor Sherri Papini.
Well,
See?
Nathan, buck up, because
Thanks.
I'm gonna make you see what these men say.
That's exactly what I needed to hear. I feel so much better now.
Good.
Come on, Sherri.
and I didn't, and I should have, and I just, that's all I.
Do you want to come back up to the table?
And then I got up and went this direction. And I can't remember lifting my leg. I can't remember the back door open.
Just take a drink of water if you need to. And I want to run something by you and see if this might be able to help a little bit. Just more. You're good. You're recalling things.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, she goes, this is one of the best up to now because now she's going to give us the details. She's going to give us details of actually being abducted, which is a big deal. I mean, look, if you ask me about something horrendous, even my SEER school days, I'd probably remember it with some emotion as I got bagged and tagged, that kind of thing. So she goes into trancer, which is what now we're talking the true crime workshop again. We talk about a romancer being a person who stares at you and only has eyes for you as they do data intake. But a trancer is when they go into emotion and get out of your way so you can't get them. They may sit and nod or do something or cry. And she does a pretty horrific cry. And her husband looks like he's going to respond. And I'm thinking, if he thinks that's a cry, man, he's been worked a time or two. But he doesn't get up and go, which is kind of interesting. In the lead up to this is when and we didn't include it in the video, but she asked, is it okay if I close my eyes? Because I remember better. Again, here you go. I don't want you reading my eye movement. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close my eyes so you can't see me. This is where she starts to sound like she's scripted and like she's doing what she thinks PTSD survivors have are gone through and how they work.
Dang, dang, dang.
She does a recap. I mean, a recap of what she's already said, walking through it. If it's traumatic, I'm probably not going to go, and then I did this, and then boom, 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 do 3 steps. Just really weird. And there's no stress, no residual emotion, no fear, no anger. It's like she's saying, well, I went to the Dollar General and they had a sale on kale, but it would look like it was a little wilted. It's about that much emotion to it. And then she says, and it sounds like she's looking for words. This cry is a down the well cry, meaning a person does whatever they can do to make a lot of noise. When she comes up, she doesn't have a snotty nose. She doesn't have any tears. She doesn't have a red nose. There's I call it a quiet weep of high school plays is what she's doing. Just kind of snickering. And then what she's starting to do here, in my opinion, one of the things that I've always taught people, there are 4 kinds of lies in my book. One is a lie of omission, where I leave something out. One's a lie of commission, where I tie things together and make up facts. One is a lie of embellishment. The fish was this big. But one's a lie of transference, where I take elements of Chase's life and turn them into mine. If I use transference, it's the hardest lie to break because I'm using facts from something else. So if I tell you that the sweatpants I was wearing had a string that looked like, well, hell, I got another pair of sweatpants. I can do that. If I say I got in the back seat when I was forced to, I could be reliving something not related and lying. We're starting to see that. That's my opinion.
Do you want to say anything, or do you want me to keep
Well, no,
going?
I don't really cotton too much to like the body language stuff. Like sometimes I think like he said in the beginning, total common sense, like, and observable in this video. Like, yes, she is staring down. She's closing her eyes. And I would say, I think when he says she's starting to do the lie of transference, I think she's having a hard time in that moment, like thinking of the story. She quote unquote cries in order to be like, oh, I'm so emotionally overwhelmed that I can't make sense of what happened. So I just think it's a tactic in her storytelling when she either feels cornered or is like isn't completely clear on what she means to say. And she's, didn't realize that she hadn't worked it out as well as she thought she did. And so she cries and be like, it's so sad. I can't remember.
Yeah. And that's what happens all the 3 or 4 times that they recap her telling the story in the affidavit is like, then she says she couldn't remember. She's trying to make up what happened. And what's interesting about that is that's a lot of the stuff that Amanda Knox journaled about.
Interesting. Okay.
In prison, she was like, I can't remember. And they keep telling me I need to remember more, but I can't remember. Here, I just pulled up the affidavit, but the part where they said, they pulled her in again. And they go, SCSO detectives asked Papini about a blog post written by Sherri Graf. Many people in the Reading area speculated that Papini wrote the blog post, which was titled Keep Walking. The post appeared to have been written sometime in 2007. In the post, Graf detailed how she grew up in Shasta Lake, California, was a good athlete, but was picked on in high school by a group of Latinos, quote unquote. The post stated, I used to come home in tears because I was getting suspended from school all the time for defending myself against the Latinos.
She's a victim.
The chief
She didn't do anything wrong.
Well, also this is what I forgot to say earlier.
Okay, yeah.
The chief problem was that I was drug-free, white, and proud of my blood and heritage.
Jesus Christ.
She does say a lot. She's like, I was proud to be sober. And she was in this youth group.
Yeah.
And that's where she met 2 of her boyfriends.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some religious stuff happening here too. They never go into what the religion is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they both look. When I see blonde people in the Pacific Northwest, I'm like, they're Mormon. They're absolutely Mormon.
Yeah. And then she'll be like, well, I've never been high or drunk. And she says that a lot to the officers because she hypothesizes that when she got abducted and taken into the car, and then the whole time she was held captive, she was being drugged. And they were, because she'd be like, Sherri can't remember a lot because she just slept a lot.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, so you think you're being drugged? Was it with needles or was it food or liquid? And she'll be like, well, I don't know. But this is where they were like, hey, we kind of think you made up these Latina women because you are already racist.
Well, already
you wrote
racist
this thing.
And it seems like this has been sort of like an attention-seeking fantasy that is built and built and built for a while.
Oh.
She's pathological. Like, I don't think she's, there's something really, really, like, more than the fact that she's just, like, trying to get attention or narcissistic supply. She's got a fantasy of this victimization that she might want to fulfill.
Interesting.
You know, that's what I'm seeing from that blog post, because she's like, she seems to be obsessed with how, like, Latinos are drug-addled and hate her for being clean. I mean,
yeah,
it's so weird.
So when they do go talk to the ex-boyfriend, which is James, by the way.
Yeah.
This is what I think is interesting, is they talk to him and they talk to his cousin who lived in the neighborhood. Ex-boyfriend's cousin told investigators that he saw Papini in ex-boyfriend's apartment on 2 different occasions, both times unrestrained. Ex-boyfriend also told investigators that approximately 3 weeks later, he had a friend rent a car for him, and then ex-boyfriend drove Papini back to Northern California, which was corroborated by car rental records. And the only reason he had someone rent him a car is because he had a DUI.
Oh, okay. Is that when she left her by the side of the road?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But basically, they take all the information that he gives them and they say, like, his DNA evidence, like, matched. Their cell phones, historical cell site analysis and toll records, like, corroborate that, like, he was up there when she got abducted. And then, like I said, the cousin says he saw her unrestrained. But then there's a part where he forgot that Papini was there. So he comes over to hang out with his cousin, and his cousin, James comes to the door and is like, hey, you can't come in because Sherri's still here.
Oh,
and so
okay.
The story in this affidavit is always like, Sherri just stayed in her room. She really didn't come out. They didn't, like, hang out on the couch.
Yeah.
Very much. Like, I guess they would eat sometimes, and he said that she would eat like half because she was going to lose weight to look like, you know, she was abducted.
Yeah.
But then in her account of everything, she's like, no, I was restrained in the bedroom. And then there was one night where the cousin comes over and is looking at her and masturbating. And so then she's like, oh, yeah, so this cousin corroborates James's story, but he just also is, like, on the same side as James. Like, they're both just, like, 2 freaks.
Yeah.
You know?
Do we ever get into a purported reason as to why James would have done this kidnapping? Like, just for sexual gratification or power or whatever?
She says in her book that she was texting with him having an emotional affair. And then she says that he tried to groom her. She words it like that he started talking about his dark fantasies.
Yeah.
And she thought it was to groom her. So, like, let's talk about the day she got abducted, right? Because on that day, she texted Keith. She said, come home for lunch and have sex with your wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
then she had also planned, according to James, to meet up with James that day.
Yeah.
And so, like, according to James, it's weird because James will be like, well, I didn't know where she lived. She just told me to meet her at the cross streets of these 2 streets.
Yeah.
And that's where I picked her up. And then Sherri's like, well, he knew where I lived, and I was afraid that he was coming to town. So I asked Keith to come home for lunchtime so that then I could say, no, you can't come because my husband is here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, she did text him asking him to come home.
But isn't that easily explicable in that she's like, I want him to come home so he can discover that I've been kidnapped, quote unquote?
That's what I don't really know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, she's just, no, it wasn't this reason. It was that reason. You know, it was this one that implicates me. It's this one that exonerates me.
Yeah. And they don't have the time she got kidnapped necessarily because no one trustworthy can tell you what time that was, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so at some point when the investigators are like interviewing people, they go talk to Sherri's parents.
In her like teens and 20s. Dropped out when Sherri was around 16. She dropped out of high school and she ran away. She was down in the LA area for a while, and then she was in the Bay Area for a while in her like teens and 20s.
Those are my feet. Now I can see where I'm going. Sort of.
She was a couch hopper for a while. So I'll just come out and ask you, do you think she's voluntarily gone right now? No. You don't think that or not, without a doubt?
Not at all.
That could happen.
I don't.
I think it's
No.
2 hours. No.
We're wrecking our brain on everything. Everything. We thought of boyfriends, and that worked so nice.
This name was James. He was a hockey player. He was actually a goalie, and he I think, for the
Ducks.
Yeah. He was that was down there.
So, according to Sherri, they broke up because he was into some sexual stuff that she wasn't into. And then here her parents are saying that he was kind of abusive. Do James and his cousin think that they're actually like just rescuing Sherri because she says that Keith is abusive? So like that's why neither one of them would have ever come forward and said, oh, actually, like I knew where she was.
Yeah.
Because they thought they were doing something good. Does it just make James get off on the idea of like, I know where she is, like I've gotten her, I don't know, interested enough that she wants to get together.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting her consent like as much as I'd want. So I'm just going to go grab her.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I want to go back to the fact that the parents have said that James is abusive. Now, believe victims, don't believe Sherri Papini. She is a known liar. So who knows what she told her parents about James when they broke up? Who knows why? She might have needed them to like help her. So she's like, he's abusing me. That seems to be her go-to. She's got a pattern of claiming victimization.
Abuse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
You
that's
know.
the thing, because there's this part of me, she talks a lot about how Keith treated her as like less than him.
Yeah.
And there's part of me that's like, okay, I think that's just how it felt for you, Sherri. I think being a people pleaser, talking like how she is to the cops, and then all the like hedging that she does where she's like, I've always been a people pleaser. I'm like, that's a manipulation though. People don't realize that they're doing that because they're doing it to get what they want, even if they feel like they're not necessarily always like having their own best interest in mind, because then they end up doing what the other person wants. But it's still at the end of the day, you're doing it so that that person will like you, which is maybe a coping strategy.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, not only that, this is not an unknown dynamic in a lot of relationships that don't involve abuse.
Yeah.
Like,
I
there's
know.
definitely like, there's different power dynamics in all kinds of relationships where people feel like, they're being made to feel less than.
Well, when I was reading her book, it really sounds to me like she's always been a pretty girl. And she's kind of gone from relationship to relationship. And that's kind of what happens when you're a really pretty girl.
Yeah.
And I don't think she ever figured out how to stand up for herself. She just thought that she wanted love,
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's in these relationships and they kind of turn towards something that she doesn't really want them to be anymore. And then towards the end of the book, she's in therapy. And I'm like, good, go to therapy. I'm glad you took that money and went to therapy, even if it was to talk about a bunch of bullshit that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of it seems like she has learned about herself too, but she and her therapist have this discussion about how, she'll say like, well, my husband will want to have sex, so then like we have to have sex.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? Why do you have to have sex? And she's like, because it's easier than putting up a fight. And he's like, okay, imagine you go on a first date with someone and they buy you dinner and then you go back to their house and then they're mad that you won't have sex with them. Well, now imagine that's your husband. You don't have to have sex every time your husband wants to have sex. And like a light bulb goes off in her head.
Oh, okay.
And then a light bulb went off in my head. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they found James Reyes because there was male DNA in her underwear, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me because they ask James when they interrogate him, quote unquote, did you guys have sex? And he says, no. Well, I think that's a lie.
I think that's a lie. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always thought from how it sounded from a distance that like Sherri Papini called her ex-boyfriend and he came and picked her up and then they had a wild time for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, also James is trying to put forth the story that he was trying to save Sherri from her abusive husband. For him to admit to having sex with her in that situation puts a lot of question marks around his motivation. Was it really that?
Here's what I think. I think it's possible that sex came up. Sherri didn't really want to have it, but she did it anyway.
Yeah.
And she feels wronged by all of this because of how it's turned out for her. I think she really believes her own story that she was abducted and this wasn't her idea.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, you know?
I don't think the truth is in the middle. I don't think the truth is in the middle. No. Honestly, I think she is one of those pathological liars.
Yeah.
Who is able to retcon their own story.
Yeah.
As needed in order to put them in the best light possible.
Well, there's two other things that come up to me, that stick out to me that I haven't seen anyone point out because she did like the podcast circuit last year when this documentary came out.
Yeah.
And I listened to a bunch of her interviews. Anyway, she was like, well, just so you know, my story has never changed except for who abducted me.
Except for literally everything.
I know.
Oh, God.
Okay, so there's two things that I noticed. So she was on this podcast with Annie Elise called Serialistly.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. And in her book, as I said earlier, she alludes to like a bunch of weird stuff that James was into and then kind of casually tosses in that one night his cousin came over and masturbated, like looking at her.
Yeah.
Then she's on Serialistly and Annie asks her, like, did you think maybe James' family, so James and his cousin, thought you were just being abused? And so they thought that they were just helping you? And she says, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, no, Sherri, based on your own story, this is where you say they were both fucking creeps to me.
Yeah.
Did you forget about that? There's this weird part that comes up where she's trying to tell the director of her own documentary, Keith always denies things that happen to her. So apparently she did a bunch of egg donations, which is way more involved for women than it is for men to donate their sperm, right?
Yeah, great. Spread more psychopaths out there.
Oh, I know.
More pretty blonde psychopaths. Wonderful.
No, it's crazy. But
yeah,
she says basically she had like these medical records of like donating her eggs. And then she says she shares files like her daughter's birth records and her forced tubal ligation.
Okay.
She doesn't go into detail about like who forced it or when it happened. But tubal ligation is something you can get done so that you won't get pregnant. So they're not necessarily removing anything, right? They're just...
Well, no, it's just getting your tubes tied.
Okay. I didn't know if it was the same thing. But she says, like, this is one of my medical records. Well, when she was abducted by James, she says a lot of the time, like, he wanted to have sex and I did whatever I could to keep him outside of me so that I wouldn't get pregnant.
Got it.
And I'm like, when did you get forced to have a tubal ligation? I don't know. She doesn't say when, but it just feels like it's all mixed in there with egg donating.
it doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense.
I know. I know.
There's no sense to be made out of it. I really believe that.
It's just really interesting because then she goes on and says, like, she had to have a colonoscopy after her abduction because her body had refused to heal completely. And I think she's trying to be like, I also got raped anally. But she doesn't say that.
I mean, is it that she is trying to, like, is she one of those liars who likes to throw out things for you to, like, see into, but she doesn't say it directly? She's just like, she's an implier. It's by implication. Yeah.
There are several times in this book where she's writing about something that happened to her. And then she writes to the person. And she's like, you know what, Matt?
Yeah.
You know what?
What?
Yeah, I had it up because it doesn't make any sense. She was dating this guy named Matt, and then one night...
Wait, is this while she was married?
No.
Okay.
So she meets Matt. He was a hockey player whose family owned a cozy coffee house in Big Bear. One afternoon... So she doesn't even go into detail, but like she and Matt dated for a while. But then one afternoon, Matt casually introduced me to his friend James Reyes, suggesting we spend some time together for a change of scenery. At the time, the gesture seemed thoughtful, even innocent. Later, I'd discover it was calculated. Matt had timed it perfectly only to date another girl at the same coffee house. And then she goes, Matt, do you remember your betrayal as vividly as I do? You didn't hesitate to throw me under the bus when our secrets leaked into daylight, conveniently omitting truths you fought desperately to hide. Did your fiancé ever learn of your quiet infidelities? Did she know how casually you suggested I cheat on my boyfriend, arriving at my door under the flimsy pretense of searching for your lost dog? Like, this comes out of nowhere.
Well, I was like, what is she talking about?
I know.
Who published this book?
Thought Leaders Press.
All right. It doesn't sound like a major house, I will say. And I doubt there was a lot of editing. It's just like...
Yeah. It's really... So
she seems to just say whatever comes to her head. She really does. I don't think she's very strategic.
Yeah.
In her storytelling. Yeah.
Actually... That's what was interesting is the one that she's in, but they're talking to this woman from the FBI and like basically Keith had kind of insisted that the FBI get involved. And this woman is, I think her name's Denise. She's like, usually the FBI only gets involved when a child is kidnapped, but you know, they insisted we be involved. And since it was like a huge news story and we didn't have any leads, we were like, okay, we'll be involved. And then once they get Sherri back, she's like, as I said, we usually only stay involved with a child kidnapping, but like I brought in like a child psychologist to talk to Sherri. And that's because she's so tiny? Better.
Well, interestingly enough, Sherri does say that she is stuck in a certain place. So maybe she did connect to like more of a child psychology vibe.
I think so. Well, I think that they had trouble making sense of stuff she was saying. They were like, so you don't remember anything about the car, you know?
Yeah.
And then she would talk more to the child psychologist. And according to Dr. Laura, she infantilizes herself a lot.
That makes a lot of sense. Yes, because she's like, I'm just a defenseless baby. I can't be blamed for anything. Yeah, that's her whole vibe. Yeah.
And so I feel like now she's kind of at the point where she owes the state of California $300,000.
$300,000? I thought it was 30. For therapy?
It's everything combined. So
okay.
It was like she took $30,000 for therapy, but then since she was also getting paid out for disability, I don't know. I feel like that would have added up way faster with therapy.
Oh, but did they charge her for like the police costs as well? Like the costs of searching and all that shit? Because that's
kind
a
of
chunk
seems
of change.
like it. I know.
Yeah, that's that's a lot.
And so she's like, my lawyer said that I should just plead guilty because, like, I don't have money to go to trial. And I'm like, just go to trial if you really think that this guy did this to you.
Yeah.
You did yourself no favors by pleading guilty. She says she got bullied into pleading guilty.
Well, when I started talking to my defense attorney and we discussed what it would be like to go to a trial, first of all, I had no money. So it wasn't really an option for me. And it's the FBI. It's not like it was a trial, James Reyes versus Sherri Papini. It was Sherri Papini versus the United States federal government. And that means they have endless resources to draw out a trial and to drain me of my resources, to drain me of my most precious resource, which is time with my children. And it was going to be something that was going to go on and on and on and on. Because what do they care? They don't care if a trial lasts forever. And at the end of that trial, however long that it would be, however expensive it would be, I still lied. So a sentence would be passed regardless. And I knew that it was wrong. And I wanted to demonstrate my remorse and my accountability. First and foremost, I knew that keeping James a secret was wrong. And so that was the best way that I could demonstrate remorse, take my accountability, and deal with the situation at hand without going through a lengthy trial, because it wouldn't be justice. It wouldn't be James is going to go to jail at the end of it because he's found guilty. It's the United States federal government.
Yeah.
I didn't stand it. Didn't have a chance. Didn't have a shot.
You know what? At Diane Downs's 2025 parole hearing, before Casey Anthony, where she said she had been sexually abused by her father.
Wow.
And then she recanted it afterwards. And at this 2025 parole hearing, she claimed, she was like, that's what the lawyers told me to say. So she was like, it's the same thing where she's like, I was bullied into it by my attorneys.
Yeah,
So,
if you do stuff that doesn't make any sense, all you can do is point at other people.
Yeah, they're always victims. They are always victims. They fetishize victimhood.
Before we finish, touch on the thing that Keith closes out his documentary with.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Which is this bombshell tonight.
Boom. Nancy?
Nancy.
Where's
me.
Nancy?
It's me, Nancy Grace. Bombshell
Oh my God.
tonight.
Bombshell tonight. Who kidnapped Sherri Papini? Sherri Papini did. Sherri Papini. She did it herself. Yeah.
There's this clip, I'll go find it, where Nancy Grace has Sherri's therapist on. And she goes, So you believe Sherri Papini when she said she really did get abducted? And he's like, yes. And she just goes, why?
Dr. Diggs, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome.
You believe that your client, Sherri Papini, was in fact kidnapped.
I do.
By who?
By James.
The boyfriend.
The boyfriend.
Why?
Good.
And then it's the end of the clip. That's it.
I can't believe that I have come to like Nancy Grace. It's very strange to me. It's very strange.
I know.
Somebody write in the Reddit remind me all the reasons why I shouldn't like Nancy Grace, please.
We're moving on. We love her.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm so sorry.
Let that dog
I have
lie.
to go back to Keith Papini's story, okay?
Oh, do it. Sorry, yep.
So he has full custody now, and he said he was talking to one of the kids one day, and he said he didn't feel good or something. And they said, oh, when you don't feel good, let me show you what mommy does.
Okay.
And they go to the bathroom and get a cotton swab and pour alcohol on it, like isopropyl alcohol, and put it in a Ziploc bag and then huff it. And then
that seems dangerous.
Oh, yeah. This was an allegation from Keith that she was making her kids sick.
Sherri Papini's pathology is far deeper and more severe than we even know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I'm sure in ensuing years, more and more will come out like this, if true, allegedly.
Well,
that where she was almost had like a Munchausen's by proxy sort of thing going on too. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, if she likes attention. But
yeah.
I just thought that story was interesting because that's how Keith came up with that allegation. And then in Sherri's documentary, she says a lot of moms will rub like Vicks Vapor Rub on your chest if you're like congested. And she's like, my kids have sensitive skin. So instead, I would put essential oils on a cotton ball and put it in a Ziploc bag and tie it around their neck. And it was essential oils and not alcohol.
Okay.
And I'm like, then why is the kid showing you that it's alcohol, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's just like, where'd you get this idea? Like, aren't there better ways to like deliver the goodness of essential oils?
Yes.
To a person besides this fucking method, whatever it is?
Yeah. Yeah, you just put them in a diffuser.
Yeah, exactly. Now, don't have your kid huff a fucking essential oil on a cotton ball.
I don't know. But anyways, another weird thing that happened is she had to stop seeing the therapist she was seeing when they cut off the funding.
Yeah.
And so she was staying with Keith's sister, Suzanne. And Suzanne is a therapist. And Suzanne
this is the hippy-dippy one?
Yeah. She said, oh, you should come to my practice. There's this really great guy, Stephen Diggs. And Stephen Diggs, like, apparently has no accreditation.
Yeah. It seems like that's where this was going.
Yeah. He also diagnosed her with, it's called, like, self-defeating personality disorder, which is something he made up. And then Suzanne and Steven one day,
Yeah.
Steven had been treating another couple. Basically, there was this man who's also in this community. All of a sudden, like, his wife died suddenly. Like, they were in marriage counseling. The wife asked for a divorce, and then she died suddenly under mysterious circumstances. I did more research. I mean, she died of COVID, but she was young and healthy.
Yeah.
So there's a subreddit dedicated to her. We need to
like
reopen
the mystery of her death, maybe, or in memoriam, kind of. Okay, got it.
It's the mystery of her death.
Got it.
So all of a sudden, because now he's lost his wife, Suzanne and Steven go, oh my God, we should set you two up. And so they dated for a while, because his wife died.
Yeah. Wow. But you know what? If I've got nothing else out of this episode, I now have a name for my personality disorder. I've discovered it. Self-defeating personality disorder. I feel free. I feel unchained.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my God.
I had all these clips, but I didn't know how they fit together because this story's so fucking crazy.
It is crazy. And honestly, it's I feel like, I don't know what your clips were, but Sherri Papini just seems to lie tactically. She does that thing where it's whoever is in front of her, she tells them what she thinks they need to hear in order to believe her. I mean,
I don't know that she sees it as manipulation, but her people pleasiness is manipulative. And that's what it is. Yeah.
No, I mean, and she might not have a lot of self-insight into what she's doing.
Right.
And so, she does. She's like, I'm such a people pleaser. It's like, no, you're actually super manipulative and toxic. But,
right.
Yeah.
And I think, her interpretation of all of the things in this story, her interpretation and then other people's interpretation are very different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I do think that while she was at James' house, she cosplayed being an abductee, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay. If James is into some kinky shit, is that the kinky shit he's into? And was she indulging him in a kidnap scenario or, a captive scenario?
I mean, it could be, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She says, he says she told him to board up the window. It kind of sounds from his description like she really was scared that anyone would see her through the window.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, wait, what if he really did just board up the window because he's a fucking freak? Or did she ask him to do it so that she could cosplay? And now she's like, he did that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, is this like a fantasy between the two of them?
Well, now
that they want to fulfill.
You know what's in the affidavit is like, then they tracked their phones and realized like after they confronted him and confronted her, she called him a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So they were like,
yeah,
you're still in contact, you know?
Yeah, she called her kidnapper, who she purports now to be her kidnapper.
Yeah.
Immediately after she is recovered. That's very suspicious.
Yeah.
I don't believe Sherri Papini one tiny iota. I think she lies to everyone, and that is why there's so much confusion now around her story. She just sows confusion. That's what they do.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to make sense. It just needs to, like, be useful in that moment.
I don't know that she even knows that that's what she's doing. She's just doing it. And she has surrounded herself with these people that believe her. You know, like, because who else would she surround herself with?
Well, that's what I sometimes wonder about personalities like hers. It's like, how much insight do they have about, like, who they are? And how, you know?
Yeah.
Almost like we were talking about with Diane Downs. It's like, do you understand how you're coming off right now?
No.
And why not?
Apparently not.
Yeah. Diane Downs is a special case. But, you know, Sherri Papini is actually, like, a way prettier. I hate to say it, but it's true. And more socially savvy, I think, than Diane Downs is. So, yeah, she's gonna have people around her who will, like, want to believe her.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
So, yeah. Nope. I stick with my original assessment of Sherri Papini that she is liar, liar, pants on fire.
Okay.
Like, you seem to have, like, a little bit more, like, leeway for her. I just, what's your perspective on her? That's what I want.
I was so struck when she was on that other podcast called, you know, True Crime in Hollywood, where the woman was just like, let's talk about domestic violence. And they both just started crying. And I was like, why does this woman believe her? Well, I guess her podcast isn't necessarily to have her on and question her. And then other podcasts were trying to do that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to those. Because it's like, we need to get the facts straight.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I should try harder to believe her because otherwise I'm just shitting on someone who says they're a victim, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
No, I mean, that's fine. I just think, like, it's very clear at this point that Sherri Papini is not a victim. She's a victimizer. You know, and I get it. Believe victims as far as you can. But, like, we believed her. She was believed as far as she could be. And it wasn't that fucking far. So.
Yeah. If you get kidnapped, tell the truth.
Yeah.
I guess. They chopped all her hair off because that will sell. That'll help her get a buyer.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that was the thing. It was like all this stuff like didn't make any sense. Like, why would we make you uglier if we're trying to sell you?
Yeah. Why would they injure her if they were trying to sell her? Why would they?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
In many ways. Yeah.
And I don't understand why James Reyes freed her unless they were like cool, you know?
Honestly, I cannot wait for the ensuing stories. I feel like shit's gonna come out. And
she says she's gonna try to like sue him civilly, and I don't know why he's not suing her, but they're gonna try to do something.
There is something there in their relationship. There's definitely there's I think this was.
Well, I hope we get to find out.
I think it was sexy to them. I really do. I think there was something that really charged them up about this, the whole abduction scenario, and pulling the wool from over Keith. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but fooling Keith, fooling everybody. I think they both get off on it, allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah, but we shall see.
I think we're just gonna keep an eye on this shit. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently she's gonna write another book.
Great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Where she just randomly shouts things.
Yeah. She's got stuff to say to just random people that she doesn't give any context to who they are. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you, Matt.
I agree. Matt's an asshole.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh my
well,
God.
thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Tell us if you think Sherri
Woo-wee.
Papini's a liar.
I know.
Yeah.
Tell us if we're insensitive, but it's very difficult to believe her. So
Yeah, she's very non-believable.
And see, that's where I think like she could be like this from abuse, but it's interesting that her sister just seems to be like, you're weird.
Well, you can be a pathological liar who comes from an abusive background.
Yeah,
you know?
and not everybody is.
It does not necessarily the cause, or if it is the cause, then, as an adult, you have to take responsibility for the pain you cause. And she seems to be absolutely refusing to do that. So the responsibility is now firmly in her adult corner. So I have I have sympathy for a bad childhood, but I don't think it exonerates her in any way from her actions subsequently.
Join us next week when we looked up at another fucked up person.
Yay! I love it. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Scrolling through my feed, all I see is bullshit, fake news, clickbait. Gotta sift through all of it. I share, retweet, trying to keep up with the trends, but it's all just a facade, man. It's all pretend. Online bullshit, that's all it is. You say you're living large, but I know it's just a myth. Online bullshit, can't you see? We're all caught up in the nonsense. It's time to break free.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.